the shoemaker who started a $100 billion company in his barn. Frankly, everyone watching this right now has possession or knows someone or has seen someone who possesses anything from the brand Adidas. The fashion label Adidas is popular among all age groups and produces content in the athleisure genre. A German brand, a German entrepreneur, and how it all started in his barn. This video is about the journey of Adolf "Adi" Dassler and how he started a $100 billion company. As we get into this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos like this. Here we begin. So, who was Adolf Dassler? Born to Christopher Dassler, father, and Pauline Dassler, mother, on the 3rd of November 1978 at Herzogenaurach, West Germany, Dassler is the founder of the renowned sports brand Adidas. Adolf Dassler, also referred to as Adi, was a self-dependent individual who was also providing for himself while brainstorming for a startup. He repaired shoes in situation of post-war Germany. Many hindrances were faced, including no reliable materials or credit suppliers. He began by hunting around the war remains to dig up resources from the debris. Many findings could be sourced, for instance, parachutes, supplied silk, and leather was supplied by the pouches for bread and army helmets. With time, he mastered the art of making out the best from rags. He also made a few devices that could help him manufacture the desired item without electricity. There were many instances where he proved he had a brilliant ideology. His vision was bright and it revolved around sports designs. Also, one of the earliest spike shoes was one of his creations. He had a taste for materials that would make the perfect lightweight but strong shoes. Materials like kangaroo leather and shark skin caught his eye for the properties. Developing shoes was his hobby, not his job, so he did it scientifically. Life before Adidas. Adi set up and registered his shoe factory, namely Gebruder Dassler Sports Shoe Fabric, Herzogenaurach, and the Dassler Brothers Sports Shoe Factory on the 1st of July 1924. The workshop was renovated from a former washroom. The small workshop had electricity that was manually generated. The factory produced leather football shoes manufactured using nailing studs and track shoes. What made Adidas what it is today? Two factors mainly transformed the small shoe workshop into the international shoe distributor it is today. We'll now learn about the same. First, when the former Olympian Joseph Weitzer, who was also the coach of the Olympian track and field back then, took an interest in Adi's experiment. On learning about Adi's venture, he traveled to Herzogenaurach. He was a resident of Munich. Adi and Joseph developed a close and long friendship as they had a very similar interest. Both had a keen interest in advancing athletic performance, along with improved footwear. The relationship later proved very profitable, as this would give Adi access to the German and other athletes during the 1936 Berlin Olympics. There were many instances where international athletes were seen sporting Dassler's footwear line. However, few were the German middle distance runner Lena Radke, who won gold in 1928, wore the Dassler shoes. Another gold medal runner was spotted in the 1932 Los Angeles Games who wore the Dassler shoes. The second reason was Hitler and his racial nationalist philosophy. Hitler's racial nationalist theory had sports play a massive role in the rise of National Socialist German Workers' Party. With the National Socialist German Workers' Party evolution, athletics were prioritized. Although the Dassler Shoe Works clearly could see the opportunity to benefit from his situation, they couldn't let it slip through. When Hitler was appointed the Chancellor, 3 months after this, all the Dassler brothers joined the Nazi Party on the 1st of May, 1933. It was Adi who had this firm belief that in order to expand supplies of their footwear line, they needed to be involved in politics. Though he decided to become both a coach and supplier, he always made sure to stay focused on the sports coaching and didn't involve much in the political rallies. Although he later admitted to be involved in more than just one politically affiliated sports club, the other club included the Liberal Gymnastics Club, the Herzogenaurach's conservative KHC Football Club, and the Union. In later years, Adi and his brother Rudolf were members of the Nationalist Socialist Motorsport. Adidas' beginning. After the Nazi War had ended, the firm of the Dasslers was in a nightmare. It all ended up where it all began. The war had taken everything, and it was all back to how it started, with no supplies, a war-torn countryside, shaken economy. But what would follow again was a different story this time. The American authorities were keen on looking forward to restoring the German economy. The American authorities gave their back to the shoe firm. Adi also had close connections with officials who would offer him the required supplies. One such instance was when Addy used Fuel Tank's rubber as sources for leather were not really available. Addy kept producing shoes and managing his business until the separation from his brother. Addy and his brother separated in 1948 and divided the firm and its employees. The employees were allowed to negotiate with the firm they believed it would work for. The staff at the sales and administration went to join Rudolph, and the rest of the staff went ahead with Addy's part of the firm and had almost 2/3 of the firm with him. Addy was really concerned about the shoes' designs, as they would create an impact on how to recognize whichever athlete wore his shoes. He was working on making the design a brand. Addy stumbled upon the thought that he could try coloring the straps on the sides of the shoe, which were for reinforcement. This is how he ended up with the 3 stripes trademark of Adidas. In March 1949, Dassler registered the trademark. The name Adidas arrived after a rejection. Addy decided to name the brand by merging his pet name and his surname, which was Addis, but a child shoe manufacturer had already been named this. Addy added an I to it, and it ended up being Adidas, Addy Dassler, still maintaining the connotation. The breakthrough. Sepp Herberger, who had also joined the Nazis, was appointed to national German football team coach. He also had an association with the Dassler firm. Following the split, he had taken sides with Rudolph, who was the founder of the Puma. But Rudolph felt his authority shaken and hence had an ugly encounter with Sepp and humiliated him. It said the argument was due to the payment Puma owned. Hardenberg ended up switching alliances. With Addy, it was and felt a lot better and more productive. Addy was quieter, more innovative, and always eager to learn about football players. Hardenberg had this drive to make Germany supreme in the international football circle. He took a liking to the 18-year-old Fritz Walter and groomed him, keeping him off the war. Addy had become a regular acquaintance of national football team. The 1954 matches arrived and it was held in Bern, Switzerland. Fritz Walter had to shine this time, and it was Addy's time too. Adidas shoes were now lighter than they were before the war. On the day of the match, the day began with a light rainfall. The prodigy Walter played way far more than just better in the mud. The day was calling the Germans for a win. Dassler had a surprise too. He revealed how he upgraded the shoes with screws and studs, which would allow the players, irrelevant of their pitches, to stay firm to the ground. The boots boosted the players' footing. In contrast, the Hungarians had more than just heavy, muddy shoes. This was the miracle in Bern. Dassler was praised and was actually a contributor to the win. This was how Adidas rose to the massive fame it enjoys yet today. Addy's family. Addy had a fulfilling family of 5 people. Kath was Addy's spouse, with whom he had 4 children. One of the children founded the swimming equipment brand Arena in the year 1973. Although Addy died of heart failure in 1978, his wife and sons inherited Adidas. Unfortunately, his wife Kath passed away on 31st of December 1984 on the eve of the new year. Addy Dassler's story is more than just inspiring. He showed how humbleness and innovation could win the world. His breakthrough with Adidas must motivate many of us to keep evolving and work hard. No war could ever stop him. He made sure he worked hard and gave his best irrespective of his conditions or surroundings. His brother founded Puma, which is also one of the most appreciated brands. Which brand do you prefer? What do you think of the story of Adidas? Let us know in the comment section below and share other great stories too.